7 handbags elegant women over 50 should avoid are often the very ones luxury culture keeps pushing as must-haves. But this is not about price, trends, or dressing younger. It is about which bags quietly cheapen an otherwise polished look, and which ones bring instant refinement instead. And before this list is over, one of the most famous status bags in fashion is making the cut for a reason most women miss. Bag 1. Louis Vuitton Neverfull monogram. There is a bag so common that it has almost stopped reading as a choice. That is the first and most important problem with the Louis Vuitton Neverfull monogram, and it has nothing to do with quality or construction. This bag is well made, practical, and sold in large numbers for a reason. But that reason is exactly the problem. Walk through an airport, a hotel lobby, or a city shopping street on a Saturday morning and count how many Neverfulls you see. The number tends to be startling. A bag that appears this often in the world can no longer carry any personal signal for the woman holding it. It cannot say anything about her taste, her eye, or the years she has spent learning to dress with intention. It says she made the same choice millions of other women made before her. For women over 50 who have spent decades developing a real personal style, that is worth paying attention to. The shape compounds the problem. The Neverfull is an open-top tote, which is a useful format. It can hold a great deal, and that is genuinely appealing. But when a bag looks like it is managing your whole day rather than completing your outfit, it redirects attention. The eye moves toward logistics rather than toward the person wearing it. Elegant dressing asks accessories to quietly finish a look, and this bag is rarely quiet about anything. Then there is the monogram canvas itself. The LV print is among the most recognized patterns in fashion, which sounds like a compliment, but actually functions as a constraint. A pattern this familiar has a way of dominating whatever surrounds it. An outfit can be composed, refined, and carefully considered, and the canvas will still pull the visual weight toward itself. That is the opposite of what a well-chosen bag should do for a wardrobe this carefully built. Elegant dressing depends on a certain visual calm. The Neverfull, for all its practicality, works against that calm. And calm is not something that can be bought back with a better blouse or a more expensive shoe. It has to come from the bag itself. The alternative here is the Saint Laurent Sac de Jour. What the Sac de Jour does differently is visible from the first glance. It has a structured, contained silhouette with smooth leather and no surface decoration. It holds its shape from morning through evening and still carries the things a real day actually requires, but it reads as a deliberate decision rather than a comfortable habit, and that distinction is the difference between an accessory that finishes a look and one that simply travels alongside it while the look tries to manage without it. Structure is quiet authority. When the bag brings both, the whole outfit rises with it. Bag 2. Hermes Birkin. This is the controversial entry on the list, so the reasoning needs to be honest rather than vague. The Birkin is a beautiful bag. The craftsmanship is extraordinary. The history is real. None of that is in question here. The issue is not the bag itself. The issue is what happens when you actually carry it. A Birkin is never just a bag. It is a statement, a piece of cultural currency that most people in any room you enter will immediately recognize and immediately have a reaction to. That reaction is usually about money, about status, and about the considerable effort it takes to own one. All of that response happens before anyone in the room has looked at the rest of the outfit. For some women, that is the entire point. But for women over 50 who have moved into a quieter and more self-assured relationship with their wardrobe, that kind of loudness can start to feel like the wrong message to send. The Birkin also creates a specific kind of pressure. It asks for careful handling. It asks for careful styling. It demands a level of awareness at all times that most elegantly dressed women would prefer to spend on something else. Real ease in dressing rarely looks like it is working this hard, and a bag that requires this much management tends to show. There is a stiffness argument as well. The Birkin's silhouette is upright and architecturally precise, which can look impressive, but on a woman who has settled into genuine confidence, it can also read as guarded. A bag this symbolically loaded has a way of making an otherwise relaxed and refined outfit feel as if it is performing for an audience rather than simply being worn by its owner. After 50, the most impressive thing a woman can project is ease. The bag that supports that best is usually one that feels luxurious without making her feel responsible for it. The Bottega Veneta Andiamo large tote bag does exactly that. Find the link in the description. The Andiamo carries the same standard of Italian craft, but the Intrecciato weave has a softness the Birkin never quite achieves. It feels expensive because it is expensive, but it does not ask anything of the woman carrying it. It simply works with her, which is a far more impressive thing to project than ownership. After 50, ease is often the most elegant statement there is. Bag 3. Chanel mini flap. Charm is not the same thing as elegance, and that distinction becomes clearer with age. It is also exactly what makes the Chanel mini flap worth examining more carefully than the industry tends to. The mini flap is undeniably appealing. The quilting is iconic. The gold hardware is beautifully made. The Chanel name carries real weight. None of that is the issue here. The question is whether a bag this small has any business being the centerpiece of a refined woman's wardrobe once she has moved past the stage of dressing primarily to be noticed. There is a proportion problem to name directly. A bag that can hold a phone, a card, and not much else starts to feel like it is pretending to be an accessory rather than functioning as one. The message that sends is subtle but real. A woman whose bag cannot actually support her day comes across as someone who has dressed around a fashion object rather than someone who has dressed for her life. For women who have genuinely earned their confidence, that is a quietly unflattering impression to create. The chain adds its own complication. On a bag this small, a long strap can become the loudest visual element in the whole outfit. It moves constantly, catches light, and directs the eye back to the bag with regularity. An accessory this demanding of attention is doing more than its share. There is also a deeper issue around what the mini flap signals in public. A bag this small at this price point tends to read as a fashion statement rather than a personal choice. It draws attention to the label rather than to the woman wearing it. At a stage of life when real authority comes from within rather than from external signals, that is a trade worth questioning at the very least. The lower puzzle medium top handle bag in leather is the alternative. The puzzle operates in a completely different register. It has the body to carry real things. The folded geometric construction creates genuine design interest without relying on logo play or scale tricks. It reads as intelligent rather than precious. It suits a woman who knows what she likes and does not need a bag to perform on her behalf. Proportion builds credibility. A bag that can hold a real life makes the whole outfit look more grounded and the woman wearing it more assured. The next bag has been recommended to elegant women for decades and it is genuinely beautiful. But there is a problem with it that almost nobody names, and once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. Bag 4. Lady Dior. Some bags carry ceremony with them everywhere they go. The Lady Dior is one of those bags, and that is both its greatest strength and its central limitation. The construction is impeccable. The quilted canage stitching, the DIOR letter charms, the structured top handle silhouette, all of it is beautifully executed and clearly the result of real craft. This is not a bag you can criticize for lack of care, but craftsmanship and suitability are two different things. And the Lady Dior has a suitability problem when it comes to everyday wear. Every design element of this bag signals occasion. The quilting has a formality to it. The charms add decoration to decoration. The rigid top handle gives the whole thing a posture that belongs at a luncheon or a formal function, rather than at the kinds of Tuesday mornings most women actually live. For specific events, it is genuinely perfect. For regular use, it can lock an otherwise flexible wardrobe into a single occasion-ready register that quickly becomes limiting. Women over 50 who have developed a genuine personal style usually want more range from their accessories, not less. A bag that is beautiful but inflexible can become frustrating rather quickly. And a bag that makes every outfit feel as if it is attending something important eventually starts to feel stiff rather than refined, formal rather than elegant. There is an important difference between poise and stiffness. The Lady Dior, worn daily, tends to tip toward the latter. What most elegantly dressed women actually need is a bag that brings sophistication without announcing an occasion, something that feels luxurious at the market on a Wednesday and at dinner on a Saturday, without requiring the outfit to adjust its energy to meet the bag's level. The Ferragamo Hug tote bag handles that job. The Hug has a sculptural quality that makes it visually interesting without the weight of ceremony. The silhouette is modern and confident without being trendy. It suits the kind of woman who looks exactly like herself in a restaurant as she does walking down a quiet street, because her style belongs to her and it does not shift for circumstances. Refinement should move with you. A bag that demands you move for it is not earning its place. Bag 5. Balenciaga Le City. Some bags belong entirely to a specific moment in time, and the Balenciaga Le City is one of them. In the early 2000s, this bag was everywhere for good reason. The distressed leather, the layered zippers, the deliberate slouch, all of it was a precise expression of the fashion attitude of that particular decade. The styling was confident and slightly confrontational, and it worked because the culture around it understood and shared the language it spoke. That culture still exists in fashion history, but it is no longer current, and carrying the Le City today brings all of that period with it, whether you intend for it to or not. That is the central problem with bags that are too coded to a specific era. They carry their context, like a second outfit. A woman in a beautifully cut blazer and clean trousers with a Balenciaga Le City will still read as if she is borrowing from 2004. The bag has its own gravitational pull, and it is strong enough to redirect an otherwise modern and composed look toward a trend that has already made its full circuit. Women over 50 who have built a wardrobe around permanence rather than fashion cycles have usually worked hard to reach a place where their clothes say something true about who they are right now. A bag with this much built-in attitude can make that harder to communicate than it should be. There is also a visual noise argument worth making here. The Le City has a great deal happening on its surface. Zippers at multiple angles, worn-in creasing, hardware throughout. That level of detail can be arresting on the right outfit, but on a wardrobe built around considered simplicity, it reads as clutter. More noise from the bag means less signal from the woman wearing it, and that is always the wrong trade. The Prada Medium Galleria leather tote bag is the answer. Find it in the description. The Galleria gives the kind of authority that does not reference a trend era at all. Clean leather, structured silhouette, quietness that lets whatever the woman is wearing do its own work. It belongs to the woman carrying it rather than to a specific moment in fashion history. And that is exactly the quality a wardrobe this far along deserves from its accessories. Permanent style is built with permanent choices. Bag 6. Jacquemus Le Chiquito. Fashion moves on novelty, and micro bags are perhaps the clearest expression of that. The Jacquemus Le Chiquito is charming, well-made, and photographed constantly. It is also, in any practical sense, not actually a bag. And that is the part the industry would prefer you not to examine too closely. A bag that cannot comfortably hold a phone, a key, and a card is a fashion object performing a bag's function rather than actually doing it. There is genuine creativity in designing something that plays with proportion in that way, and the Le Chiquito has earned its place in fashion culture. But for a woman who has spent her adult life building a wardrobe around real quality and genuine self-expression, carrying something that functions essentially as a prop raises a straightforward question. Who is this actually for? More often than not, novelty proportion bags are for the photograph. They are made to stop the scroll, to signal that the wearer is standing at the very front edge of current fashion. That signal can feel exciting and fun at 25. After 50, It tends to work against the kind of grounded confidence that is genuinely impressive because it prioritizes fashion over the woman wearing it. There is also a practical dimension that cannot be overlooked, an accessory that quietly forces a woman to carry a second bag for her actual belongings is not really an accessory. It is a complication in handbag form. Women who have moved into their best years of dressing have usually left that kind of inconvenience behind, and rightly so. The line between fashion forward and try hard is often just a matter of proportion, and a bag this intentionally small sits right at that edge more often than its fans tend to admit. The Loewe flamenco shoulder bag points in a better direction. The flamenco has real personality and design interest without the novelty. The knotted strap and soft body give it a relaxed, artistic quality that reads as current without reaching for a gimmick. It can carry everything a real day requires and still looks like a considered choice rather than a fashion exercise. It suits a woman who selects interesting things because she has interesting taste, not because she wants to prove she keeps up. Modern and smart is always a better combination than modern and effortful. The last bag on this list is currently being pushed everywhere by editors, stylists, and luxury resellers alike. And there is a very specific reason why, for the elegant woman over 50, it is quietly working against her. Bag 7, Saint Laurent Loulou. The Saint Laurent Loulou and the wider category of oversized, padded, quilted chain bags have dominated the luxury market for several years running. These bags are genuinely beautiful objects in a boutique context. The quilting catches the light in a satisfying way. The chain has weight and movement. The leather at upper price points is soft and richly textured. On a hanger, very little about them is easy to criticize. The problem surfaces when the bag is on a real woman and the outfit is doing its own work alongside it. Heavy quilting at large scale adds significant visual mass to one part of the body. A chain strap creates a second layer of movement and texture that keeps drawing the eye back to the bag. Add an already substantial silhouette to both of those elements, and the result is an accessory that interrupts the lines of almost everything placed near it. A good coat gets broken. A clean blazer loses its edge. A well-chosen knit or dress that was doing something interesting on its own ends up in a quiet competition with a bag that was designed to be seen first. For women who have spent years learning to dress with restraint, that is a significant trade to accept. An accessory that competes with the rest of the outfit is not doing its job properly, regardless of what it cost. The quilting also has a specific softening effect that does not always land as refined at this scale. In large quantities, it can make a bag look upholstered rather than elegant. The shape inflates rather than holds. When the goal is to look composed and quietly polished, a bag that visually puffs outward is working against you in ways that are small but cumulative. The lesson that connects every entry on this list is visible most clearly here. Luxury is not about how much. It is about how well. The Bottega Veneta Laurent 1980 medium leather clutch is the counter-argument. The Laurent 1980 is soft in the way that real leather is soft, not in the way that padding is. The shape stays controlled without stiffness. It feels expensive from every angle, and it never interrupts the line of whatever surrounds it. It proves that the best bags do the most with the least, and that restraint in shape is a form of luxury all by itself. That is the final thought this entire list has been working toward. The right handbag should finish your outfit quietly, give it shape, and make getting dressed easier. That is the thread running through this whole list. When a bag is less fussy, less logo heavy, and less precious, your style usually looks stronger. If this helped you, hit like and subscribe so you never miss the next one. Every bag on this list is linked in the description below. And if you want to keep building your wardrobe the smart way, the next video is on your screen right now.